Hello everybody, it's me. Welcome back to the video. Now, in this video, this is going to be a very big day because I don't actually know when this video is going to come out. It could come out in an hour, could come out in 2 hours. I'm recording this around 1 p.m. my time, and there's an update scheduled for 4, right? And this update is absolutely huge when it comes to PvP, and I wanted to go over it. Originally, Wishy said that it was going to be coming out tomorrow, so I was like, oh, I can sleep and then make this video when I wake up. But no. But I might as well go over all of the changes, because, heck, there's a lot of them. This is such an insane balance update, and it's probably the biggest one that we've ever had, and I've already skimmed through them and read them. There are some W's, and there are some that I could be persuade to be like, oh, maybe it's something decent. I'm not sure, but I'm not here to get mad at balance patches. I'm here to read them and get excited for the future. And with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoy me doing some battles in the background, and let's hop straight into it. All right, and hopping directly into it, we are going to start with this. It's a paste bin. I'll leave it in the description below if I remember to, if you guys want to watch it or read it yourself. But basically, here we go. New scrolls obtainable via the scroll shop. Pylons, a spark type entry hazard. When a doodle gets sent out into a pylon, they take damage equivalent from a same level doodle with 80 base magic attack using a 40 base power spark type move. This means earth types are immune, and doodles with conductor get a magical attack boost if there are pylons on their side of the field. So think about this as a level 50 basic type doodle with 80 magical attack, and it uses shock every turn you switch in. That's kind of what it is. And it has the exact same effects as a normal electric type move, so yeah, of course, conductor and earth types are immune, which is interesting. And I think this is definitely going to be a very cool entry hazard, because it will definitely make it so a lot of plays have to be considered around pylons, you know? And assuming that it's also like a damage calc, that's not going to be fun at all. To make this a lot easier, it'd probably be better to put them as a set damage, in like 1 damage roll instead of just like 4 others. That'd be horrible. But yeah, I think these are W, very cool. And we have Somnambulism. This move only works while the user is sleeping. The user randomly selects another move it knows how to use. So basically, it's Sleep Talk from Pokemon. So when you're asleep, you use it, and then it'll pick a random move, which is really cool. So this could honestly be good on stuff that likes to use rest, like Theaterror or something. Because Theaterror, its ability makes it so it gets a more defense whenever it is, has a SAS condition. So yeah. Then move changes. We have Careless Assault. Being changed to a recoil move. Does 50% of the damage dealt to the user. You know, I have a problem with this. For one, I feel like when you have a move like Careless Assault, since basic type moves, they don't hit anything super effectively, and then on top of it, you also have 3 things that resist you. One of which is an immunity. I think it's Mythic, Spirit, and Metal all resist you, and you can't hit anything super effectively. Basic type moves are meant to be strong, right? They're meant to be powerful, and basic types are not that hard to stop, right? I think the only problem people were having Careless Assault was Dracothread, which Dracothread is an incredibly good breaker and does so much damage. But you could send in literally any metal type and you could probably beat it. Like, Seam Knight's really good into it. But I can see why you want to make this change, but I think 50% recoil is a bit too much, you know? I don't know. Because if you one-shot something, and let's say you have 100 health on a Springling, and you one-shot a Sir Sablet with Careless Assault and has 200 health, you're dead. You're just dead, I'm pretty sure. Because you're doing 50% of the damage you dealt. I just think this could definitely have a different change to it, because this just really feels like it's too much. But yeah. Now we have Beast Summon change. 1 in 8 of current health to 1 in 10 of max health. can now cause Doodles to faint. That's very, very good. The reason this is very good is because every single time they switch in, they're going to take 10% of their health, and it can now cause Doodles to faint. So now it's even better than before, essentially making it stealth rocks, which, yeah, this is a very, very good change, making Beast Summon much, much better. Seems like Wish wants hazards to be a more prominent part of the game, which I'm 100% for. Adding pylons and then Beast Summon is great. Definitely very, very cool change. And then we have Thunder Strike. 20% paralysis chance to 10% paralysis. Doesn't really do anything for it. Then we have buffs. Squonk is getting Boo from printing, so essentially helping with its armor break set. Sombrock is getting Aurora Flash, which is really, really good for the Awaken set. Sombrock A is getting a slight buff into its magical attack. Anu Beetle is getting Shale into Hit and Run. Oh, that's going to make Sandteens very, very good, hopefully. Partybug A, for the rest of the battle, Archmage is being changed to this Doodle, and its allies have 10% or more attack and magical attack, which I really wanted to try. With Springling, I was really curious how that would work. And then Lodo getting a very, very nice buff in 5 more attack and 10 more speed. Maragrim getting Apparition with this Doodle's basic type move becomes Spirit. Calamander getting a 62 magic attack increase, or 62 to 72. Meltamaw getting Sharp Fangs to Scarf Down. Ooh. It looks like Wish wants the meta to be more offensive, it looks like. You know, because he's adding traps, then he's adding more weather options. I really like this because the meta's been kind of boring lately. I guess having the options of pylons and buffed Beast Summon is really, really nice. And then Endoble's getting a buff, getting more HP and losing some attack. Megordle's gaining some attack, some magical attack, and some less magical defense, and Herbivore into Robust, which I'm pretty sure Robust is just natural cure. So whenever you switch out, you restore your status condition. Mamolten, form change is permanent for the rest of the battle if using a fire type move. This one is really good, and I feel like it was definitely needed because Mamolten felt like you needed to have its fire type stab, right? You needed to make it a fire type before you could do anything, right? I think it needed that. And I'm glad it's being changed to be permanent, so it's definitely going to be a bit better. And Gowat is being changed, or getting a buff, to where it gets 5 more attack and 10 more defense. And it now learns Shock Therapy level 52 and Bestial Wrath at 65. Very, very nice. And now Glubby, here we go. Goo Blast is getting that from printing. 90 magical attack to 100. Ethereal to Healthy Toxins. If there's Acid Rain, heal 10% of max HP at the end of each turn. Again, Wish is 100% leaning toward a more offensive and weather-based meta, and I am 100% here for it. It'd be very cool to make a bunch of weather-based teams. Like, you can have Rain, you have Chocolate Rain, Acid Rain. You know, you have everything in the game that has options to set up sand, right? You have Anu Beetle, right? You have Girasera, you have Calamander, you have Voltenchant. You have a lot of things that can set up weathers, and we are getting more options to abuse those weathers. Just a very, very, very cool. Very, very cool that we're getting more weather options. And Vixalor is getting a buff to 73 to 78 HP, 87 speed to 97 speed, and getting Disposed from printing. And now Swamp Jar, I think, is a really big winner of this patch. We got 55 magical defense to 65, 87 speed to 97. But wait, it gets Warcry. Swamp Jar getting Warcry is honestly really good because it's gonna definitely use it, right? You're getting a melee attack boost and a speed boost. You know, it's really good. It's really, really good. Swamp Jar is really, really good, and I think after this change, hopefully it'll be a lot better. And then we have Geluminous getting a buff, 84 HP to 94, and 76 defense to 81 defense. Okay, getting a slight bulk buff. Ostagon, Antivenom being changed to Dust Storm. Dust Storm now makes the user immune to Sandstorm. So essentially, you can just set up sand. So this is another way of setting up sand is with Ostagon, which also gives it the option of Climate Shot, which can hit metal types, or could hit electrics with Climate, I think. Kaleidoskunk getting a slight buff, getting 10 more offensive stats, which is nice. Further getting my theory that it's going to get an Awakening someday. Binotic getting a defense, slight defense increase. And it actually has a little thing we got to talk about here. Binotic has its niche with Nullify, but I think its best application is Anti-Weather. With their emergence of Sand, I think some extra defense gives a small buff to accommodate for the addition of Pylons. Yeah, Pylons are definitely going to change a lot of the game. It's going to definitely stop Manta Scald, you know? I think adding heavy-duty boots really soon would be such a cool change, really making this more of an offensive meta, and that'd be so cool. And Tarionics, it gets a buff here, 70 defense to 75, 75 to 70 magic defense, so just get its defenses swapped, gaining 10 more speed. Now look, it gaining 10 more speed is a game changer, right? Because look, since essentially can get up to like 180 something speed, getting 10 more speed is insane. Because, okay, let's say you switch in against a Zapawira, right? You could not outspeed it before, but now you're probably going to be able to. And it also is giving Venabite from a scroll, so now it's able to more effectively hit water types and plant types that threaten it. I know it had Electrobite, I think, before, but you had things like Moss that could beat it, so this is a very nice change. And then Sumouse actually getting a buff. Again, this thing has gotten so many buffs. It's getting 105 speed. So this is a very good buff to Sumouse, and I really do like it. And Jalopy gaining Protect by printing, which is interesting. Cthulhu, and Cathalos can now have Stormwater as a possible trait. Cathalos getting a slight speed buff. Moyai, fortified into Sand Swap. During a sandstorm, swap this Doodle's attack and defense stats. Oh no. Oh, this is so cool, dude. This is awesome. I really like this because this is just making this is really just saying that Wish wants a more offensive meta. And adding all these offensive things is really nice. And I think this is really cool. Peblet will do a monologue, blinding rocks in a sand shield. This Doodle cannot be inflicted with status effects during a sandstorm. So yeah, again, further wanting to get weather as a meta thing. Stalagant getting a buff, or Stalagant A. Mental Momentum. After doing damage with an attack, this Doodle's Mind type moves attacks get stronger. Previously, Mental Momentum would only activate after using a Mind type move. After this, you can use any damaging move to boost Stalagant's Mind type attack power. Huh. So basically, every time you use a damaging move, you're getting stronger on your main stab, which is really good. Junipyro's getting Quick Thinking, and here we go. We're getting into the nerfs. Here we go. Refresh. When this Doodle is swapped out, they heal themselves for 50% of their missing health. And here we go. The refresh change shouldn't have a crazy impact unless games go on for super long, which should help Season 1 lead away from stall meta. The main Doodle this will affect is Jirasera. Jirasera still has great utility, and while this change will hurt it, Jirasera isn't going away anywhere anytime soon. Refresh Resilience is not being changed at all. So it's kind of sad because now if you're going to use Cerebropod, you're pretty much forced to make it be awakened, and there's also inadvertently nerfs. There's also like the death to J-Elect. I mean, if this is really centralized around Jirasera, I think there's a little bit of a better way to deal with it, like nerf Jirasera's defensive stats. You don't have to get rid of its utility, just make it less bulky, because, yeah, I think if you're going to get something refresh and it's bulky, you have to, or if it's refresh and it has a healthy stat, make it have lower defenses so it's more reliant on, you know, taking one hit and then switching out, so then later it's weaker. I feel like this could definitely be rethought, because this is just hurting other things that could run refresh that aren't as good as Jirasera itself. And maybe I'm not thinking about it. Maybe this is going to be different than I think it is. Maybe this will just be different, but I don't know. So essentially what this change is, the lower you are, the more health you're going to recover, which is fine. Then Talena A getting a nerf, 125 attack and magical attack to 120 attack and magical attack. And Talena A is arguably the strongest awakened Doodle currently, and its attack already gains a buff from toxicity, which effectively allows it to KO most Doodles. I worry that Talena has had the potential to become oppressive when Season 1 rolls around, so I think it's best to get the jump on it without making it slightly weaker. So this change is deserved. Talena was definitely very good. It had Jirasera coverage, and I don't think it was ever really used. I think it was definitely the most underrated awakening in the entire game, because I never saw it being used. It was probably used in ranked, but yeah, Very, very good. Maybe could hit it a bit harder. Maybe give it 115, because again, you did say it gets boosted, so maybe it should rely on its toxicity stab, you know? Because Poison's already a really good typing in this game. And Rotera. Here we go. Rotera, 111 speed to 105. Rotera is hard to balance due to confidence, but one of its main strengths right now is that it can just be sent in and go, ah darn, then outspeed the opponent before switching out. By lowering its speed, it has less room to squeeze out disadvantageous matchups for free. I think this is fair, but I feel like there was a different way to go about this. I don't like it because what made Rotera good was the fact that it had higher speed than everything in the game. Its whole thing was outspeeding and being able to safely switch, right? That's the thing. There are ways to beat Rotera. Getting it on the field was what made it so good, and it was able to lead games and help offensive teams, even defensive teams, help. And it had a very good typing to back it up. It just had so much going for it, right? But removing this really makes Rotera mid. You know? It's not going to go anywhere probably, but the fact that it can now get outsped by base 110s like Zapowera, Lurkalid, Bunswirl, to name a few off the top of my head, really, really sucks for Rotera. And as well as Rush will freeze now possibly being able to outspeed. I don't know if I outsped it before. This is kind of a unfortunate change, and I can't really say that I'm surprised because I knew that something like this was coming to Rotera, but I don't know. I thought that it may have been able to be reconsidered. Kind of an unfortunate change for Rotera, not gonna lie. And then Core Lizard, 120 magic attack to 110. And I never really saw Core Lizard being used. I know it was used in Ranked, and that's pretty much all I know. Core Lizard excels at clearing hazards with corrosion due to its natural lingering poison removal. And its 120 magical attack makes it hard to switch into. With addition of pylons, Core Lizard could very easily dominate the meta with offenses and utility. Curse Cloak sets additionally allow it to serve as a magical wall, which allows Core Lizard to take full advantage of its coverage options and magic attack. By taking away 10 magic attack, Core Lizard will become easier to deal with while also still maintaining its niche and overall being a great doodle. You know, I like Core Lizard, and I feel like for a while, I never really saw it used, because of course I don't play Ranked that often because I hated this meta. I did not want to play Ranked. If this meta gets more offensive, I'll probably pick up Ranked again. It's definitely, it seems like it could be very, very fun. You know, I could get back into competitive stuff in Doodle World. It could be kind of fun. It kind of depends on this meta though. And yeah. And now Potterfiend's actually getting a nerf, which is interesting. And also a buff at the same time. 50% damage reduction to 30% damage reduction on Sandscreen. And it's getting a 10 attack buff and a 5 magic attack buff. But it says attack and attack, which is kind of weird. Sandscreen is a very strong ability, and with the rise of sand, I think it's worth adjusting Potterfiend to focus more on what it does best, which is clicking armor break and hitting stuff hard. Sandscreen will still be good, but I worry that left unchanged, Potterfiend could become overwhelming fairly quickly, especially with pylons in the picture to hurt water types. Very fair. Very, very fair. I've always kind of liked Potterfiend, and with the addition to pylons being able to hit a lot more and hitting water types can be very, very cool. I think pylons, I don't know. Like, I think we're going to see how it's going to work. I think Witch is being careful, because pylons could either be absolutely crazy or be terrible, you know? It kind of depends. And Death's Dog, we have 110 speed to 94 speed. Doesn't really need exclamation. Death's Dog was really, really good. Skadeen A. Finally getting the freaking nerf it needed. Its defensive stats are being nerfed by 5, which I think needs a little bit more than that in my opinion. Skadeen does lose its defense buff when it switches out, but still 95, 110, 110 bulk with 100 magical attack and an automatic +1 is very, very strong. I think it could afford to lose some defenses while still maintaining its strength, making it easier to chip down. At the very least, I think that Skadeen A should be very closely monitored. Yes. Like I was saying before, I think it does need a little bit more. The fact that it can still be whittled down because it still has the option of healing with Storm Heal. With Rust and Snap Freeze, you have nearly perfect coverage. Nothing can switch in on Rust and Snap Freeze. It's really, really hard, right? Metal types can't switch in. Water types can't switch in. It's hard to beat Skadeen A. I think this thing could probably get its defenses nerfed to like have 95, 95, 95, you know? Because if you're going to make it offensive, you might as well lower its defenses, you know? I don't know. Like, I feel like 95, 95, 95 is still really, really good, but it might be too much. Taking 15 away from your defensive stats could be a lot, but I think it's deserved because Skidine A is just really, really good and just too easy to use. I feel like everything in the game should have a certain skill ceiling, but there's of course going to be things that are easier to use than most. And Mantle getting a magical defense nerf from 120 to 115. Mantle is currently one of the strongest doodles in Season 0 due to its bulk, recovery, and utility. It's a 58% win rate, and pretty much everything else in that range is getting hit with a nerf. Mantle will arguably receive a buff with the release of pylons, as the hazard clearing will become more important, and Mantle's excellent is an excellent choice in doing so. I think leaving Mantle untouched heading to Season 1 is a bad idea. He can be hot fixed if he becomes overbearing, but -5 magical defense should be fine for now. With the thing of Mantle, how long is this going on? Dang, it's about to exceed how long I recorded pre-recorded battles. It's okay, I can slow it down by a little bit, you guys won't notice. But I think the thing with Mantle, is it's good because everything else is good, you know? And the fact that they're able to get rid of traps while also being able to, like, threaten stuff with a Night-Night, you know? It can get traps, it can Night-Night, it can also set up its own traps, it can hit and run. It does a lot of stuff. And with pylons, it would be worse to run the air version, which gives it its earth immunity, which is arguably pretty nice, which then makes it hit by spark, which in turn would nerf its magical defense, which is what's kind of happening. But I think this is fine. I kind of stopped using Mantle after a little bit because I kind of got bored of it, but maybe this will be a pretty good change, but we'll see. And Fruitoad, okay. Fruitoad's getting a small nerf. Luckily, it is not as big as I thought it was. Thank goodness. 107 HP to 100. Good change because Fruitoad didn't deserve it. Did not deserve it. Infernius, Menacing Snarl into Karna. This doodle takes 50% less from Earth-type attacks. When this doodle gets hit with an Earth-type attack, boost a random stat. Karna cannot boost accuracy or evasion. So, basically, this is making, Infernius a bit better, or a bit easier to deal with is what I mean by that. Because before it was just easy to switch into any melee attacker. It was good with the Fruitoad Infernius core. That was just annoying to deal with. It was so hard to beat, and then Koryu on top of all that, which we're going to get to in a second. This is definitely a good change because it will stop it'll stop it from lowering your melee attack, not being able to do like any damage, which in turn will also help hard hitters like Bunswirl from doing extra damage to it, which will be very, very nice. And I think this is a very deserved nerf. Koryu had its time in the spotlight, but I think taking 50% less from Earth type attacks is interesting because then you're neutral to Earth. But then again, are you really going to want to switch on an Earth type attack? I don't know. This is probably it's an unfortunate change, and Infernius is probably gonna fall out. Doesn't look like it's gonna be very good anymore. And Koryu losing Quick Ice to gain a Sail. Slightly unfortunate, but hey, I guess now you can actually hit it with priority moves, so I guess my sprinting can finally freaking kill it. But then again, Quick Strike got gutted. Not really gutted, but nerfed. And Grotto A is getting a nerf. It's losing attack and losing some defenses too. Thornet losing Piercing Ice to gain a Sail. It just looks like a Sail is just like the the move that Wish gives to stuff, because this move is a Sail is a terrible move. You're never using a Sail. So it's just a move he gives to things that it's funny. And Owl's getting a trait rework. When this duel enters battle, it takes 20%, 25% less damage until it uses the move, then 25% more after it uses the move. So you can take 25% less or 25% more. Pretty good change to Owl. And then Zerzura is losing Disarm. Keeping a close eye on Zerzura. If it is still overbearing, the detox heal might have to be reduced. As it stands, it walls any doodle that doesn't hit it super effectively. Yeah, that's definitely a problem. I feel like you could... Here's the thing. You don't want to make Detox just use crayons, right? You want to make it its own thing, and keeping Detox... I don't think Detox needs a heal reduction. You could honestly just lose the defenses on Zerzura, because other than that, why would you ever use... you could use Detox, you know? But, like, I don't know. Like, if you reduce the healing down to what use crayons is, it just seems like a waste of potential, you know? There's a lot of like things Zera can do, but if it's too bulky, you can reduce its health, reduce its defenses, you know, even lower its offenses so it doesn't hit as hard, but it still does its job of being a defensive wall, you know. And it doesn't even have hit and run, so it's not that, it's pretty easy to predict what it wants to do, you know, and then it has to double itself if it wants to go for any predictions. And generally it is pretty fine. I think it's okay right now. It doesn't seem as good as I thought it was going to be. But with that, I think that is going to actually end it all off. Hopefully everyone enjoyed. And yeah, those are all of the patch notes. And if you guys are happy with any of them, let me know. I'm really happy with the pylons. I can't wait to use Awakened Volt Enchant. You know what's cool about Awakened Volt Enchant? You don't have to use it on rain. It can really work on its own, and I really like that about it. And the fact that it can just work on its own is cool, because then it can set up pylons. And the sad thing about pylons is Voltatu and Montor, I think, don't get it. I don't think. It said something how every electric type besides Montor and Voltatu, yeah. But yeah, overall, that'll end off this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see everyone in the next one. Bye bye.